Good afternoon. This is Marvin Appel, editor of Systems and Forecast Investment Newsletter here at the 2018 Chicago Traders Expo with Anne-Marie Baiynd, who is an author and CEO of the tradingbook.com. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I enjoyed your presentation to the Women in Trading event that they had on Sunday, I think it was.
Thank you.
And I want to follow up for our viewers with some of the points you brought up there in case they weren't able to attend. You mentioned when we were chatting that you trade mainly for your own account, so that's your highest professional loyalty, which, as you're saying, is a very hard thing to do, and many people try and fail. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And in your presentation, you mentioned the primacy of price.
That's right.
What are your favorite technical indicators, in addition to moving averages, that you like to use in order to determine the prevailing price trend and then refine that to execute your trades?
All right, thank you. That's a great question, and it really is something that I really focus on all day. Mm-hmm. And so I look at price first, and what I look with my technical indicators to do is confirm what I think the price is actually telling me. Mm-hmm. Now, some of those things are, oscillators like the MACD, or the stochastic momentum index. My goal, of course, is to look at price first and then let my technical indicators confirm that I am correct. And so when I get to the execution space, I'll see price behave in a certain way, like it might be coming to support. I have a tendency, if I'm looking for a long trade, because I really do manage risk first. Mm-hmm. So when I look for a long trade, I start looking for where support might bounce, where all the traders are saying, okay, I'm not letting any more get below this level. I'm going to try and hold it. And that cushion begins that element of space. So once I see it start holding that element, breach above it slightly, and then come back, that's where my execution is, because the cushion will define my risk. Mm-hmm. It's always the first place I go. I rarely buy breakouts. I rarely buy breakdowns. They have to look very specific for me to do that. Otherwise, it really is looking for where are traders participating in that space.
So you're looking for a retest of support.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Exactly.
And what is the sweet spot for your trading in terms of the holding period? Are you looking for day trades or for longer periods than that?
Primarily the day, but I would say this, some spaces are so attractive that we know there's going to be additional participation after the initial end of the day, and so I will keep a small portion on. I trade in the future space, and so because I am obsessively focused with risk, I very rarely leave myself exposed in any grand fashion to the futures market, because it can be quite terrifying sitting in the wrong direction.
Yes.
And so that I really try to make sure that my eyeballs are nearby, or that my alerts are within earshot for me to come into spaces that go, okay, that's enough. You need to realize this is turning around. So,
which futures markets do you find the most productive for you?
That's funny, because I think the answer would be different if you would ask me, hey, which do you like the most?
Oh, okay.
Because I think the ES really ends up being the most productive. Okay. I love oil, though.
I see.
Oil is a very interesting space because it's tremendously emotional. And buyers and sellers get involved in these spaces where you think to yourself, oh my goodness, I can't believe they've sold it down that far, and then it'll turn right around and accelerate back up. So you have to pay, for me, I have to pay special attention when I'm trading in oil, and if I don't, things can get a little hairy. Overall, I get really the most bang for my buck with the ES, and once in a while that NQ, which moves tremendously once it's got its breakout mechanics, it can move amazingly. I will be there, but again, you've got to have that total focus in that space, and I really am in maybe one or two instruments at a time, and that's all.
And are you using similar indicators for different markets, or do you find each market has its own character that you approach it differently?
You know, they do have their own character,
yes,
but I always gravitate to price.
Right.
So they're hanging out in different ways, maybe moving into averages in different ways, but again, they pull back into their support structures,
Gotcha.
or they come up into their resistance structures. So I'll focus there first, and then I'll give it a little bit of elbow room if it's around a moving average, or around a particular MACD reading or a particular stochastic reading, to just let the chart have its own personality to get where it's going.
Okay, well, we are out of time for our first segment, but thanks to Anne-Marie Baiynd, author and CEO of TheTradingBook.com, for sharing her futures insights with us at the 2018 Chicago Traders Expo. We'll be back for our second segment after a brief break.